Hi. As you can see, this is the main interface for the Heurist platform. On the right here, we have a crosstab function where we'll click on. This is the function that the PX team has worked on. So as you can see, this is the main interface for the crosstabs function, and basically it utilizes the records here on the left, and it creates a cross tabulation of the various detail types that the user is wishing to select. So firstly, the user will click on the drop down, and as you can see, the record type that we would like to analyze is agents, and we can select that. Next, the user will then select from the drop down here a detail type based on the record value that has been selected. So these are specific to the records, the record type that we've selected. So we'll select profession, and the system will then generate a table. And this table, you can change the table title here. The user can customize this however they want it. So for the purpose of the video, we'll click on, we'll type in test, and we'll click apply. The user can then search for a specific value that they wish to search for. So for example, if we start typing in AU, that value will pop up. We can also convert this to a PDF and export it as well as a CSV. So I'll go ahead and show you that. So as you can see, it's downloaded. Once we click on it, the table then appears in a PDF. We can also download it to a CSV. So if I click on that, the CSV is also downloaded here, and it will open up within the CSV. So now if the user is wishing to have multiple values to cross-tabulate, they can do so by clicking on the button, the next drop-down button, which they can then choose amongst these values that are the same from the records. So for example, I'll choose business partners, and I'll also choose a third variable, number of documents. So as you can see, multiple tables, because this is a 3-dimension or three variables, there are multiple tables here. The user can also click on sum and average, and it's based on a variable here that the user can select from. They can also, so if we go back to counts, they can also select rows and column percentages, and also choose to show blank columns as well, which will then display the table here. For the blank rows, they can also have 0 values as well, as shown. When the user selects a single variable, for example, a row, here we have profession, the user can choose the pie chart tab, where we'll display a pie chart specific to this variable. And once they hover around it, they can see the values of each dimensions.
In this scenario, for the crosstabs function, we're going to have a look at the edit, add, and delete intervals function. For now, we'll focus on the text types data. So as you can see, here are intervals. They're all text types. We're going to subtract some intervals from this data set. As you can see, they are being subtracted from the table below. It's much smaller than the original. Now we're going to add them all back into one group. So by selecting all and pressing add interval and the green arrow, it's now added all the intervals that we subtracted back into one group. We can rename this by clicking on the name and typing in what we wish to name it. We can also remove this whole interval if we click this delete button, but for now we'll keep it like this. Now we'll do the same for numeric based data. So here's the numeric based data. We have a range from 0 to 631. First off, you'll notice the intervals. There are 10 intervals in this set. We can change this, however. In this case, we'll add 5. And 5 intervals have been added to the data set. We can also change the range. In this case, we'll change the range from 100 to 300. The intervals and range have been changed to account for the new ranges. In this case, 100 to 300. However, in this case, there isn't a 300th interval, so it just rounds to the closest one. Additionally, you can choose how the rounding works. You can round from 0 to 3, depending on what you enter in the drop-down menu, and this will change the nearest decimal.
So once you have saved all your, once you have picked all the data that you wish to analyze, you can name your file that you want to save all this data in. So name it test, for example, in this search bar, placeholder here. And then you click the save button, and then the pop-up will show that it's been saved. And if you wish to bring the same saved data that you want to view again, you can click the one that you saved here in the drop-down, then it'll be all displayed again. You can choose to edit the name if you wish, and then also you can choose to delete this as well. And you could always obviously make many other saves as well based on different sets of data.